Welcome everybody. Who all is excited today? Great. Well, whether you're online or you're here live, we're welcoming you to the Igniting Souls Fellowship for August. And today we have a very special teaching. I'm sure you all have some kind of idea, something that you want to get out to the world, because we all are born with something creative inside of us that we need to share. Today we get to learn about how to create a product that is going to make an impact. And as you see, 3 steps. How simple is that? So who all came here because they have an idea? Online, you can go ahead and share too. Awesome. Perfect. Well, today we have such a fantastic person to help us learn how to do that, because not only has he created his own products, but he has impacted over 1 million people with that. So without further ado, please help me welcome up our Chief Igniter, Kary Oberbrunner.
All right, I'm thrilled to be here today with you guys. In fact, if you can type in online where you're from, that would be fantastic. I know we have people from a variety of places. We also have a special guest from Arkansas that you'll meet later, so welcome, Daphne, as well. I'm going to be on TV tomorrow. Can you believe that? On Fox 28, thanks to Joel Kessel. Joel? Yeah. I thought I'd say it. I was going to share it after it was, in case it was successful, then I would share it. But what the heck, why not share it? So it's tomorrow's National Book Lovers Day. Did you know that? Tomorrow is National Book Lovers Day. How many of you have enjoyed books? Has anybody enjoyed a book? Has anybody, without exaggeration, has anybody had their life changed from a book? Raise your hand. Okay, there's certain people that it's not true, so Daphne, those are the people you want to visit afterwards with your book, okay? But I do believe books have the power to change people. It's kind of like getting a mentor and their best thinking and tapping into their brain. I know that's a weird concept, but have you ever thought about that? Like if you read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, you're actually having a one-on-one brain-picking situation with him, even though he's dead. I know that's a very weird concept, but books have power. And today we're going to talk about how books can be turned into products, because that's what kind of sets this group of people aside from the normal people in the world. See, normal people just write a book, or they have an idea, and then they say, well, I'm not really going to take action. How many of you have ever seen an infomercial where you actually had the idea? You actually had the idea, and now you're watching the infomercial, and you're like, that was my idea, they stole it. Is that true? Mm-hmm. Okay. Why didn't you create it? Back up? Okay, I'm too much on the camera. I'm too excited, okay? I'm like swallowing the camera here. All right, I'll back up a little bit. Tone down, okay. But this is true, right? Some of us have actually seen an infomercial and we said, that was my idea, they stole it. Now they're millionaires, now they're billionaires. Well, why didn't you take action? Today we're going to talk about that. Back to the book thing though, I have with me a very special thing here. In fact, I've been sleeping next to this for the last week. No, I'm kidding. I have not been. I would have punctured my bald head, okay? The point is this. We have something very special coming on October 26th. This is the Author Academy Awards, okay? So we actually have 16 of these that we're going to be giving away. There we are. We're going to be giving these away to special authors. And there's a whole voting panel. And right now, we're judging. In fact, there's been a judging 3-hour meeting yesterday. I won't tell you who was there, but we're going through all these submissions of fantastic books, and we have our work cut out for us. But Erica, if you can share the Author Academy Awards link, that would be great, because it's going to be right here in Columbus, Ohio, and we have a ton of people that are going to be there. It's a red carpet, dressed up event, and it's really about honoring the literary industry. I believe that people like publishers, authors, writers, editors, these are some of the best people on the planet. We would not be where we are today if books had not existed. Do you realize that? I mean, we would be back to the Stone Age if we didn't have books. Books open up new worlds to us, and so we wanted to honor the book industry by doing that. But today specifically, we're talking about 3 steps for creating your perfect product idea. And I like to tell people right out of the gate what you're going to get. So here's the 3 things you're going to get today. By the way, Erica, where are people from? Has anybody weighed in today yet?
UK.
The UK, fantastic. I love those people. Headed there in November. What else do we got? Anybody else? Canada, awesome.
Right here in Ohio.
Ohio, love it. All right. Well, let's go on with exactly what you're going to discover today. Why people really buy a product or service, and how to ethically influence the outcome. What's the key word up there? Anybody? Ethically, okay. Is it wrong to ask for a sale if it's ethical and if you've served the person?
Yeah.
Anybody?
Yeah.
I would say it's actually wrong for you to know about someone's problem, to care about that person, to serve them, and then say, but I have a cure for your metaphorical cancer, but I'm not going to share it with you. See, some of you are scared to talk about your product or service. Is this true? Come on, let's be honest. Any honest people in the room? How many of you, it's here online as well, how many of you are scared to talk about your product or service? Anybody? The question is why? The question is why? Why do you think, I'm going to ask the crowd today, why do you think people are scared to talk about their product or service? Anybody? Yeah.
Not for me, not being confident in not the product, but the presentation.
Okay.
I want it excellent.
Yeah, so in other words, maybe the product's good, but I struggle with the presentation
Yes.
part of it.
Mhm.
Okay. How many of us struggle with the presentation part? Any of us? We're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about that today. I talked with a friend recently. Check this out. This is crazy. Okay, this is a little cool story. I talked to a friend recently who said that he was at a party and there was a Lexus dealer at the party. And the gentleman asked him, are we good with Wi-Fi or am I too close? What's up?
You're getting hats put on.
Yeah, it's like
I'm getting hats put on.
It's like
You're
the filter.
Great. I love party hats.
I was watching and I'm like, wait,
I love
he's got
party
a hat
hats.
and a
It's to
beard.
keep it interesting. Was I just Gandalf a few minutes ago?
You were doing a lot of different
Okay.
things on here.
So what you can do, I think, is you can click out of that on the phone itself. It's got to be on the phone itself.
No, this one.
It was kind of fun, but it was snowing at one point.
Was it snowing?
Yeah.
Daphne, I'm going to ask you to come up here, and I'm going to fix the phone here. Come on up for a second.
Great.
So Daphne, this is planned. This is planned. Are we good?
Yeah, you're a werewolf.
Are we good? I'm a werewolf. I love it. I love it. No, I think it's the phone actually.
But my
Maybe it's a
phone's-
filter. You're okay?
No, my phone's doing the same thing they're saying.
Right.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Are we good now or no? Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay. Don't touch the phone again. I don't want to be Gandalf. So, I was telling this Lexus story.
Yes.
Can I finish telling the Lexus story?
Yes. Or I can go back down.
You can go back. I'll bring you back up. I'll bring you back up. But she brought comfort to me in my Gandalf moment there. No. But the Lexus story, okay? Are we good or is it still freaking out? Is it still freaking out?
It's good.
It's good, okay.
But you just need to stay back.
I just need to stay back. Well, all
Your
right,
bald
stay
head's
right
not
here.
showing up. It's part of your trademark.
Stay right here. I'm
Oh,
sitting.
that's better. There you go.
I'm sitting. Okay. The Lexus story. The gentleman asked the guy, have you ever driven a Lexus? And the gentleman said no. And rather than explain all about Lexus, rather than explain the features, rather than explain the benefits, the safety features, what do you think he did?
Test drive.
Oh, very good. He said, I'll tell you what, you see that Lexus parked down the road? Because he had driven it to the party. He said, I'll find my own way back. Here's the keys.
Wow.
Did he ask for a driver's license? This was a nice party. This was a nice party. Did he ask for a driver's license? Did he ask for verification?
No.
Monday morning, when the gentleman dropped off the vehicle at the Lexus dealer, guess what his next question was? How do I get one? How do I get one? The Lexus dealer spent 0 time talking about all the stuff that most salespeople spend a ton of time talking about. Instead, what he did is he gave the gentleman the actual experience. See, here's a big mistake I see with coaches all the time. Coaches spend most of their time talking about why they're a good coach, why they're certified, what the coaching program's going to do, when instead they hold the magic key. What's the magic key if they have a 30-minute window with someone?
Coach them.
To coach them. And then afterwards say, how did that feel? And the person will say, what do you mean? How did what feel? Well, how did the last 30 minutes feel for you? What that question does is it helps the person state the value that you've just achieved within them. You're asking them to name how it felt. So now they're validating the experience. Because here's the problem. Less than 1 in 500 people have ever experienced a true coaching session. So when you say, let me tell you about coaching, what do you think is the picture that's going to pop in their mind? Can we talk about coaching today? Have you ever thought about being coached? What do you think they're going to think of, just the general public, when they hear the word coach? Urban Meyer. All right. I was going to say, especially at Ohio State right now. Urban Meyer. So now you're working against millions and millions of dollars of a metaphor that's already locked in their brain. Does that make sense? Hey, have you ever thought about coaching? Now he's thinking about Urban Meyer. Now he's thinking about the, 2015 championship. Now he's thinking about, all kinds of Buckeye music, all this stuff, or whatever town you're from. The point is this: stop talking about your products and services. That's the first step. Stop talking, and we haven't even started yet. This is all free. This is coming from God today, right? So the point is to stop talking about your products and services. That's where you're missing people. Because now, instead of test driving the Lexus, they're saying, oh, okay, the wheels are made out of alloy aluminum. Okay, I guess that's relevant for me. No, it's not. It's not relevant. Does this make sense? All right, let's go to our next point here. How to present your product in a way that serves and not sells. This is just stuff we're going to talk about today. And number 3 steps for creating your perfect product idea. Okay? You guys ready? Ready for the journey today? Okay. So first of all, welcome. This is the Igniting Souls Fellowship, if you're not familiar with it. And our goal is to ignite 1 million souls by 2020. That is the goal, to ignite 1 million souls by 2020. And again, I just want to thank you guys for sharing this on Facebook. The more people that share, the more people can have their lives changed. Renee was right. That was a goal by 2020. And David and I did the metrics a few months ago, and we actually have already achieved that. We're going to announce a new goal at the Igniting Souls Conference. But we do want to give everybody a gift who did share. So write this down here. For those of you in the room, Erica's going to share it with you. But tomorrow, what we're going to do, David and I are going to go live tomorrow. We have not done this teaching ever tomorrow. And tomorrow we're going to basically give you guys the 3-step process we use, how we went from, in fact, Marlene, where's Marlene? Right here. Come on up, Marlene. Let's give Marlene a hand. Come on. There's a step right there. There's a step right there. Okay. All right. Can you see Marlene and I, or should we move back? Are we good? Okay. This is unplanned. In fact, she came up to me and said, I said, hello, welcome. And he said, don't you recognize me? And I was like, yeah? No. But you said, Marlene, I said immediately, Rahab's Hideaway. Yeah. Rahab's Hideaway. She has a ministry to help women who've been human trafficked. Is that not cool? Is that, let's give that. Yeah. So you joined our author program a few months ago, and you're kind of working on that now?
Yes, I am.
Okay, but here's the weird thing. I said, when's the last time I saw you?
Right.
And it was 2011.
Yeah.
Back in 2011, I was a pastor with a dream and a book, and that's about it. Right?
Whoa.
Right?
Yeah.
And you brought some of your people
Some of the
there.
victims there.
Yeah, so David and I, back then, we gifted tickets to the victims
Yeah.
of human trafficking, and that day,
Yeah.
they discovered
Oh
a
my
new name.
gosh.
It was
Yeah.
so powerful.
That was powerful.
But here's the point. We wouldn't be here today if you wouldn't understand what we're going to teach tomorrow. In other words, how many ideas do we have, but we don't create what's called systems and structures and scalability around it? And that's why most dreams die. Is because like we would have done a big event in 2011 and then said, okay, now what do we do next? If you lack that, tomorrow you're not going to be able to exist 7 years later. So let's follow Marlene, and where can we find you? On Rahab's Hideaway?
JoinTheSwitch.org. We still have Rahab's Hideaway,
Okay.
but I transitioned to Join the Switch.
Join the Switch.
This is where you guys can, follow.
Okay. Join the Switch. All right, let's give her a hand.
Thank you.
Very much. All right. So why do I share that? I share that because I have not seen her literally in 7 years until today. And if we hadn't discovered some of this stuff, David's gonna come up. Actually, David, can you come up? Let's give David a hand. Come on up. Look, David, we're gonna get into the content here in just a moment, but I met you in 2011. Now you really can't fit on the camera, right? Right?
He's good.
He's a tall dude. Hold my hand. You want me to hold your hand? All right. So, David, I met him, and here's how to find your business partner. You ready? You ready to write this down? How many people need a business partner, a really good business partner? Okay, write this down. All right? You walk up to a stranger and you say, hey, do you want to be part of my men's Bible study? Okay? That's how it happened. He was a new, no, don't say that if you're a woman, okay? Do you want to be part of my men's Bible study? No, but here's the point. David was new at the church, and he was just standing there, and I thought, let's invite him. You came in, and your secret name was published. It was written but not published. And I'll let you tell the rest of the story. You tell the quick story about your passion and how we got here.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it was we were new to Columbus. We had just moved here. We were just trying to find a church home. We knew no one. I mean, we were literally at zero people that we knew. And so we were meeting, and we were trying out different churches, trying to find a church home. And as you can imagine, Kary sees a new face, and what do you think he does? He goes over and says hi. And I was at that point in time being stay-at-home dad. That was my main focus, and so I'm looking for ways to get connected. And he really, you know what? He was serving me at that point in time. It was like what you were talking about before, the things that you were saying, how can I show you? How can I help you? And he took me in and he said, hey, would you like to, we have a Friday morning men's Bible study. Would you like to come? And I'm like, yeah, because that's exactly what I'm looking for, because I'm looking to meet people. I'm looking to try and establish friendships and so forth. And I got started in all of that, and you were just at that point in time just starting to cover the content from your secret name, and that book just hit me square between the eyes. It was absolutely a message that I believe wholeheartedly was God ordained at that point. That point in my life, it was there to meet me right where I needed to be, and God used that message in a huge way in my life, and he just stopped me dead in my tracks. And it was one of those moments where I had to just deal with it. I could not move past it. I had to deal with where God had stopped me. And when I did that, it brought me to that place where, okay, things are different now. You just shifted the board game here. The paths in front of me are now not the same paths that I was walking before. You shifted it. And now I have to walk a new path. And you're asking me to do this. And you, when you did that for me, my next thing was, okay, if this can do that for me, how can I help someone else experience similar? And again, your Lexus example is a good example, because it's, once you've experienced it, once you've gone through it, once you know the impact that it has for you, now you're in, you're sold, you're ready to go, you're ready to do this stuff and ready to make the change. And for me, it was this matter of, my life is now different. Things can't go back to where they were. Things are now no longer the same, and I have to act accordingly, and I have to move accordingly. And from that point forward, you were very generous in letting me, because I dug in with both hands into the Your Secret Name message, and you would even look at me weird because you told me I started teaching your content back to you, because I really took it to heart, and I was digging through the Bible like crazy, and I would come back to him and say, what do you think about this verse and that verse and this and that? And he just has this look at me like, who are you? What are you doing? Like, you're crazy. You're like all in. And it started to develop a relationship, and you were generous with me at that time and let me have a role in doing some of the things with the Your Secret Name Conference, which was just kind of an idea at that point in time, and you had me teach some things from there, and it really just kept growing and developing. And I believe that this is something that God wanted to happen. God brought two paths together, that the things that I'm good at and the things that I need, it was a fit, because there's things that Kary's really good at and things that Kary's not good at, and same for me, and we're like the other side. There's people, you need people who are very creative, who are very out there to be networking and relationships and building all that, and then you need a person who's there to be able to handle and manage the structure and build and organize and make it happen. And we were the other side for each other. We filled that side, and all of a sudden, the things that he was trying to do with moderate success, the things that I was trying to do with moderate success, we could put it together, and 1 + 1 is now 3 instead of 2. And that is a beautiful thing when you can, but again, you have to have a message that is going to be attracting people. You got to have that message that moves people's hearts and makes a difference in their lives. And that's really the key, is to be able to get to someone to help them to change their life, and then they're going to want to be a part of that.
So tomorrow we're going to share the system on how we take an idea and turn it into a 6-figure online business. And there you go. And that's what happened. So it's going to be fantastic. And Erica's going to share the links. If you can do that, Erica, that would be fantastic. David, I'll let you finish up as I reconnect this somehow. So anything else you want to share?
No, I think just as we've gone and as we've built things and as we've developed things, we really come to this place where God has given us things that we knew we needed to share. He's given us things that we needed to do to get out there to make a difference in the lives of other people and help other people. And then as we continue to do that, we've come to that place where we've realized we are not the only ones with a message. We are not the only ones with things that God has given that need to be out there, that need to help other people. There's other people that are brought together, because when we first started, we didn't intend to build a tribe necessarily. That kind of happened. And all of a sudden we realized one day the tribe has a life all of its own. They're all interacting with each other, they're getting together, they're doing things on their own. We're like, we didn't even think about all those things that are going to be happening. And they have messages and they have things that they know that are their gifts. And we now need to take what we know and what we know how to do and help them get out there so that they can have an impact in the world as well. And I think that's a lot of the story as it continues to go.
Awesome. Let's give him a hand. So we're going to give you guys the link in the room right here. It's just my name, KaryOberbrunner.com. Good luck spelling it. KaryOberbrunner.com/ideas. And that's the free training tomorrow. It'll be live. Here's a book signing that no one showed up to. And the whole room went quiet. No, I've had book signings where nobody showed up to. And part of the reason is because you don't see your secret name there. Has anyone read any of these 3 first books? Probably not many. One, thank you very much. I used to be your pastor. See, when you're a pastor, people have to read your book. But the reason why none of these books really went anywhere wasn't because it was bad content. It's because I didn't have a system and a structure and a scalability factor that allowed it to go across the world. So I want to prevent you from having that experience too, because if you put your blood, sweat, tears into a product or service, but you don't know the system we're going to teach tomorrow, you're going to struggle. Here's my brother-in-law. your brother-in-law will always come to your book signing. Okay, I'm just being real. And notice, almost 10 years ago to the date, that says December 30th, 2008, there's me at a book signing. I had no clue what I was doing. I was signing this book and said, basically in my head, hope you have a good life. Today, I don't do that at all. Today, I know that a book is actually the first step in an entire transformational journey that we're going to be talking about today. So again, that's tomorrow, live, 11 a.m. Eastern. Erica's sharing the links with you. We're going to go over these 3 things: how to create a lifestyle business, ensure a pool of hungry buyers exists before you create your product. Wouldn't that be cool? That's what Steve Jobs did. Steve Jobs had a pool of hungry buyers before the product was even created. Why you'll destroy your business before it takes off if you ignore this one action. A simple framework that keeps your customers coming back from you again and again. How many of you in the room today have bought more than one product or service or attended one more paid event, more than one? Has anybody in the room ever done that? Raise your hand. Okay, so look around. Why do people keep coming back? We're going to show you how to do that. Why you don't need to resort to becoming spammy or salesy, and how to create a bulletproof offer that makes your product unlike anything else in the market. Some of you worry about that. You say, well, I know someone else who has a product like that. Yeah, but have you positioned yours differently in the marketplace? That's very important. So tomorrow we'll be doing that. And again, Marlene, that's where you were. Remember that? Small little tables, little group, and come to our October conference, and we're 34 tickets from selling out the entire Hilton Polaris. So it's pretty crazy. And here's David way back in the day. How many of you were at our super cheesy first conference? No, I'm kidding. Joel, you were there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, people will tell you this is not a good stage setup, okay? I'm showing you this as encouragement, okay? I'm showing you this as encouragement to say, look, free space, free tables, free chairs. It was so cheesy that we had like coffee that we made in a bathroom. We don't do that anymore, okay? It's the water. Don't think crazy things, people, okay? But here's the point, white wall. You gotta start somewhere though. If you have a big enough passion and a big enough dream, and you say, you know what? I'm not stopping until someone kills me, you're gonna go pretty far. But so many of us, we have an event and nobody shows. And Rick, you used to come to the very first fellowships. I think it was me and you. Yeah, it was like me and you, and maybe Joel came once in a while, right? And now today we're live streaming to thousands of people. So let's jump right in here. Again, Chief Igniter here. Let's jump into the first one. And that is, ready? Take notes. Here you go. Here we go. Your product or service is offering one of 2 things. You need to realize this. Okay, there is no middle ground here. You are either offering aspirin, which solves their problem. Okay? Your product or service is either solving their problem, which we're going to talk about in a moment. Notice, it's very small print, but what do you think it says right there? Pain reliever. Your product or service is a pain reliever. And until you realize that, you're going to have this disconnect. Mark, you are a photographer. You have fantastic equipment. When you go and offer your services to a wedding couple, is that what you call it? I don't know what you call it. That's what I call it, wedding couple, all right? I'm sure there's a better term. But you are a pain reliever. Because if they hire inferior photographer and suddenly they show the pictures to the mother of the bride, is there going to be pain? Anybody? You bet. You bet. So what Mark offers is not photographs. What does Mark actually offer? Memories. Peace of mind. Confidence that your day is going to be a legacy for the rest of your life. Do you guys see what I'm talking about? But some people just say, oh, well, I'm a photographer. Well, so is a million other people. But when Mark positions himself as, I preserve memories so that future generations can feel like they were in the front row of the entire ceremony. Do you see how that's different? Do you think you can charge a little bit more when you position it that way? Absolutely. So some of you have the right product, you've had the wrong offer. Let me say that again. Joel, that's tweetable, right? Some of you have had the right product, but you've had the wrong offer. And therefore, there's a disconnect. We'll get more into that here in a moment. But there's your aspirin, okay? Others of you are selling what's called the vitamin. The vitamin is bringing them benefits. And may I be so bold to say, some of them don't even know they need your benefit. We'll talk about that in a moment. Does this make sense, first of all? That your product or service is either solving their problem and you are a pain reliever, or, check it out, immune health. You see, what are they selling right there? Right on the bottle, what are they selling? What's the benefit? Starts with an H. Health. Right? So you buy this, you're going to get immune health. And some of us are like, is that even a word? Immune health. It should have been, health immunity or something. But it doesn't matter. It's still working. They're selling. Okay? So does this bring a light bulb on for anybody so far? That maybe up until today, you've kind of just said, well, I'm just a coach. I'm just a small business. I'm just a consultant. Okay, but do you show your clients how you solve their problem or how you bring them benefits? Our next point today. So, what is your main job? Here's the cool thing. You have 2 main jobs. You ready? This is your new job description. Check this out. Your job is to raise people's awareness. In fact, that's your only job. Your job to become a successful entrepreneur, fill in the blank. Jeff, funnel builder, right? Susan, health coach. Your job is to raise people's awareness. Susan's really good at this. Susan, I follow you on Facebook, like I follow most people here on Facebook. But she's always posting, not buy my stuff, hire me as a health coach, because what that does is it feels spammy and salesy. Instead, what she does is she raises people's awareness. And sometimes I see your post and I'm like, oh, gee, I better go to the cover differently in the next 5 minutes here, right? I mean, that's what you do, right? You raise people's awareness about how much is in certain things and this type of thing and what that does to your energy level. So, check this out. You raise people's awareness of their need for pain relief. Folks, you gotta give people a little shot of pain. Because if you don't, you're not being honest. If you know that someone's on a path right now that's gonna lead them to more depression, more sadness, more hopelessness, and you just say, well, I don't want to be a truth teller. Are you helping them? Some of the greatest clients we have today in the tribe are when I had a heartfelt, shot of truth conversation with them. Now, here's what people do. They put anesthesia first. Should I give you guys some examples? You guys ready? I have a friend who used to say this at the end of every statement. Every powerful statement, he would say, it's just a thought. Is that helpful? Is that helpful to be like, you know what, Erica, you're headed for a cliff, but it's just a thought? Is that helpful for anybody? What does it actually do from the power of the statement? It diminishes it. What about this one? But that's just my opinion. What you're actually doing is you're preparing the person to reject you. Do you know that? You're actually giving them a mental out to not have to look in the mirror. And that's why you're not making sales. Look, Daphne, I'm going to bring you up right now. Now's the time. Now I'm bringing you up right now. All right, Daphne. So, this has been a wild one. Normally I don't have Gandalf beards. Normally the PowerPoint works, but it's all good. You got to roll with it. So, you know that Author Academy Elite started in 2014. And folks, this is called, if you've heard of a book called The E-Myth, the entrepreneur myth, there comes a point where you need to stop working in your business and you need to start working on your business. Does this make sense? And like anybody in our trajectory, we had reached a ceiling where I could only do 70 interviews a week for so long before I was dying on the couch, okay? Besides running all kinds of other things. So what I did is I got Daphne to run the first interviews. How did you feel doing the first interviews?
Extremely responsible.
Did you? Yeah.
And a little overwhelmed.
Yeah, but you did it, and now Lisa, you're doing it as well. Nikki's doing it. Deborah's doing it. You see how dumb I was to say only I can do the interviews? Folks, you're your own limit. You really are. You are your own limit on your business. Here's a great homework assignment. What am I doing in my business right now that somebody on Fiverr could do for 10 bucks? You're actually paying yourself to stay stuck and small. That's what I was doing. I was paying myself to stay stuck and small and said, well, what if somebody gets in who shouldn't be in? And what if someone does a book that's risky to my brand? Who's the focus with all those conversations? Me.
Yeah.
We say we're caring for other people, we're really caring about ourselves. True? So our own ego gets in the way. So now I say Daphne's a better interviewer than me, right? Well, you are. But Lisa, you're fantastic. But you, my friend, this has been, you didn't drive all the way from Arkansas to deliver this to me, but we can pretend you did. But there came a point where you said, I want to stop interviewing people and I want to start writing my own book. How scary was this for you to write a book called What's Your Scarlet Letter?
It was probably the third scariest thing in my life.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to know the first two. But here's the point. Are you helping people solve their pain?
Yeah, that's the plan.
So the point is that the book talks about people who are stuck in pain.
Yes.
And talk about what does the scarlet letter mean? I mean, we all kind of have heard that story before, but tell us a little bit about the concept.
Right. So over the last several decades, I've worked with thousands of women, high achievers, who are very successful on the outside and suffocating on the inside.
Wow.
And so the purpose of What's Your Scarlet Letter is to recognize their hurts,
Yeah.
help them release their shame and reclaim their voice so that they're taking off the mask, living free, secure, and empowered, ultimately in the design for which they were created.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you guys see this, or do you see this, or do you see both? What do you think from what she just said?
Both.
Both?
Yeah.
So she starts with people who are stuck in their pain, and they're hiding, and they have a mask. But then through the process of her book, what are the benefits that people get?
So they're living free, they're living
Living
secure, they're living empowered, they're embracing who they were created to be, not stuck in that pain.
Yeah.
They're living on purpose now.
And there's no way to get healthy, there's no way to get healing unless you have that very honest conversation.
Absolutely.
Okay. Listen, she brought a few copies before they're even released to the public. And if you know you need a copy, they'll be in the back for sale, and she'll even autograph one. So thank you so much, Daphne.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Here's the point. Write this down. If you've hung with me, you've already heard this for years. The area of your deepest wound is often the area of your greatest impact. Let me say that again. The area of your deepest wound is often the area of your greatest impact. Daphne, you probably had a safe book that you could have written, but you wrote the scary book. Folks, the way that you become successful many times is by telling people, you know what, I used to struggle with this, and here's how I found a solution out of it. The book, Your Secret Name, by the way, I was extremely scared to talk about that story. That story was about my self-injury, about my stuttering. Let me tell you, I was very comfortable with my masks. I didn't want to talk about that at all. But I honestly felt that until I did, I couldn't really help people. So your own fears are preventing you from helping individuals, all right? Okay, let's go to our next point here, and I'll get this, cool. I'll get this rolling here. Is that an aha moment for anybody? That your job is to raise people's awareness? Is that new for anybody? That's new for you? Okay, so therefore, I need to ask you, how much of your last week was spent on helping raise people's awareness? And if the answer is none, do you think you had any money in the bank then? You see where I'm going? See where I'm going with this? If you're not raising people's awareness of what their problem is, what their pain is, you're going to struggle. You're going to suffer. All right? So we have something now, and again, we're going to fix this by next time. It's all good. We'll fix it by next time. But there's a slide here that I want to show you, and it's called, in fact, what if I just show you, let's see here. While I'm getting this, Joel Kessel, come on up here, man. Pick it up, buddy. Come on up. All right. So Joel, you do a lot of media consulting with people.
I do.
Organizations, nonprofits. How much time do you think you spend educating them and raising their awareness before they buy?
Probably about 75%.
Okay, so did you catch that? He spends 75% educating and raising their awareness of their pain and then the benefits. And then is the sale easier?
Absolutely.
What happens if you sell, which we're going to share here in this cycle, what happens if you sell before you raise their awareness?
I get nowhere. And yeah, I just get nowhere.
Yeah. It's almost like saying, let's get married, and they say, what's your name? Right? Right? I mean, a sale is kind of like getting married in a way, right? And so by you just standing on a street corner saying, does anyone want to marry me, is that effective? Probably not, right? Not long-term relationships. So, Joel, what are some tips that you do to raise their awareness? Is it statistics? Is it case studies? Is it stories?
It's a lot of stories. It's a lot of statistics. I'm big on teaching people. It's one thing for you to say it, but if you could find third-party validation to prove why the pain is there and why you offer some of those benefits, even better. And stories, which I learned a ton from you. Now with email, a lot of my emails now, it's sharing that story of someone else that I happen to work with that overcame whatever that pain was or the
Sure.
benefit. So to show that, one, you're not alone, and two, you can get over this hump or this feeling that you have and see the level of success that this person also achieved.
Awesome.
And through that, it's like, oh, Joel helped them do that without me saying, this is what I do and how I can do it for you. It's just a natural, more genuine, authentic way of doing it.
Awesome. Let's give him a hand. Yeah. So here's some subtle ways you can do this. Instead of just telling a story, use the word client. You know, that reminds me, the other day I was talking with my client, Tom. Now, if Tom is your brother, he's now your client, okay? Listen, when you first start, I know it's a stretch. I know you feel like, well, gee, it's the catch-22. You need experience to get a job, but you can't get a job unless you have experience. You've heard that before from millennials? It's kind of like the same struggle. I don't have clients, but I need clients to get clients. So where do I break in? One thing you can do is you can do a complimentary service for somebody in exchange for a testimonial. So this happens all the time. In fact, this is a very smart strategy. I could talk about a guy, I believe his name is Jeff McMahon. I believe that's his name. You can look him up on social media. But he decided to offer a very successful entrepreneur virtual-based exercise. So this guy's a physical trainer, and he knew that John Lee Dumas of Entrepreneur on Fire and Pat Flynn, they could not have a trainer, so what did he do? He said, let me train you for free. Guess what happened when they said yes and had success and loved it? Do you think this guy is now booked beyond belief and he can't even say yes anymore? Absolutely. Sometimes you drop the dollar fee and you partner with someone who's successful for free, and that person already has a built-in platform. You don't lead like that. Well, I'll hook you up if you hook me up later. Okay, that's like closed door. But if you genuinely go in with a heart to serve and say, here, I have something that I'd love to offer you, and by the way, they need to know that they need it. Okay, true story. I once knew a friend who needed, let's just say he needed food advice and exercise, and someone went up to him and told him that. Ouch. Do you think it went well? Hey, if you ever need help on this, I'll help you. The guy looked at him and was like so offended. That's not how you do it. Sometimes you actually do it without them even asking as a service. I missed an opportunity. A lot of times I tell you guys about good opportunities. I missed an opportunity last night. You want to hear it? Or should I just move on? No. Okay, I'll just move on. So last night I was at my kids' school orientation, and the principal held up a book and said that this book is amazing and it's changed their life, and they're encouraging all the parents to read it. What I should have done is whipped out my phone. I don't even know who the author is. I should have whipped out my phone, taken a picture with the principal holding the book, looked up the author and said, hey, I'm a fellow author. I just want to say I was at a school assembly and I thought you'd be encouraged. Check it out. Better yet, tag him on social media. What author is going to be like, please stop talking about my book. Please. Please, I'm offended. Listen, folks, I missed an opportunity there. Do you think I'm going to be ready next time?
Yes.
And I may be bigger than this person. I may be smaller than this person. It doesn't matter. It's something that as an author, I should have done, and it could have started a friendship. Okay? These are things that everywhere you go, there's these little marketing opportunities if you have the eyes to see. Cool? All right. Here's the serving sales cycle. I made this up 3 nights ago. You can copy it, okay? A lot of stuff I make up. I do it, but then when people say, well, how do you do it? That's when I figure it out. Let me say that again, folks. If you can't explain how you do something, it's not helpful. That's how I used to have a publishing career. I would say, in fact, Daphne knew me back then. People would come up to me like, how do you do this? How do you write a book and turn it into 18 streams of income? How do you write a book and turn it into a 6-figure business? And I would say, it's really complicated. Okay, that's really bad. If people have asked you, you've heard me say this before, if people have asked you 3 times, 3 different people have asked you how to do something, there's a 6-figure business there. A, they see you as a credible source. B, they have a need. It's like they're saying, I have money, can I give it to you? And you're saying, nah, it's complex. Here's some money, can I give it to you? No, it's complicated. So what I do now is I force myself to sit down and say, how do I do that? That's the secret between wealthy people and unwealthy people, are the people that can share the solution with others and not just do the solution themselves. Sarah Blakely, you know that name, anybody? Spanx, right? I know more about Spanx than I should. No, I'm kidding. But here's the point. I study women entrepreneurs too. And if you don't know the story, she's late for a party, she can't find anything that fits or makes her look good, or who knows about all those female details I don't even know about. But here's the point. She gets pantyhose, cuts off the feet, and wears it and says, oh my gosh, this is the most comfortable pair of pants I've ever had. If Sarah Blakely kept the idea to herself and didn't do what David and I are going to teach tomorrow, Thursday, on that free training, there would be no Spanx because she and her little girlfriends would just know this secret. Instead, she practiced a process that made it a system, a structure, and scalable. Make sense? Make sense, everybody? So here's that quick steps. Number one, you show up filled up. Show up filled up, and people who are new are saying, what does that mean? Rick, can you hold up your cup right there? See Rick's cup? Is it? Oh, look at that. It's pretty full. It's half full. So if Rick walks into the next networking meeting, airplane, store, and he's just like, you know what? The tire got flat. The furnace just broke. You know, my kids aren't listening to me, which he has great kids. But let's just assume that he walks in empty in life. Do you think people want to do business with him? Flip the equation. If Rick walks in and he's showing up filled up, do you think there's a opportunity there? What do you think? If he showed up filled up and he's full of encouragement, he's full of kindness, he's full of all kinds of details. Look, I do this all the time, not just to get my way. I'm serious, okay? So last night there's a long line with the orientation, right? All kinds of stuff. I need to get back for an author call. I'm like, there's no way I can be there on time. So what did I do? I worked my way when there was a dismissal up to the table and engaged the people in a real conversation and made small talk and conversed with them and found out about their summer. Guess who handed me a sheet and said, hey, why don't you have this and get out early? Okay, guys, it's a mindset. Does it always work? No. Does it work 99.9% of the time? Absolutely. Remembering people's names, right? Treating them with respect. Saying please and thank you. These are things I'm trying to teach to my kids, and it doesn't always work, but it should work, right? Here's the next thing. Identify their need and provide true value. Identify their need and provide true value. I have a little joke here that I tell people. Never tell an influential person, if you need anything, just let me know. It sounds helpful, but why is it not helpful? Anybody?
Because they will.
Okay, they will. That might be true. They will. Do you think anybody's telling an influential person not that?
Right.
Do you think anybody is telling Oprah today, you know what, gee, if Oprah needs anything, I'm there? The whole world is saying that pretty much, unless her few haters, right? So if you want to be an outlier to a successful person, discover their need. That's what's going to make you crazy successful, is to discover their need. There's a guy named Dow who was here the last couple times. He's not here today. He did that for me. He said, hey, Kary, I think if you had a microphone at the fellowship, it would be better. By the way, I forgot it today. See, so bummer. I forgot it today. But he said, look, tell you what, I'll go on Amazon, tell you exactly what you need, and I'll set the whole thing up for you. Dow, okay? Do you think he's on my top favorite list for like when I want, listen, successful people, I'm not just saying this for me, I'm saying this for most of you are successful in this room. In fact, all of you are successful. Why? Because you showed up today. So give yourself a pat on the back. You showed up. You're successful today. Here's the point. Successful people love to get even. Successful people hate to not get even with your kindness. Does that make sense? The whole reason successful people are successful is because other people hooked them up, gave them, I'm not saying they didn't work hard. Trust me, they worked hard. But they've been given kindness along the way in their journey, and they have this heart. The true successful people, and not the drama kings and drama queens, they want to get even. And so when you are kind to them and identify their need before they even know it, they want to return the favor. Does this make sense, everybody?
Yeah.
So here's the last one. I provide a clear next step so I can keep meeting their need. That's sales. Guys, number 3 is sales. Number 3 is where your bank account grows. How did I even word it? How did I word that? Did I say, then you give them a sales sheet and take their credit card? Look at, I provide a clear next step so I can keep meeting their need. People do not want to break relationship with people who are valuable to them. Let me say it again, there's a big secret there. People do not want to break relationship with people who provide true value for them. Does that make sense? So if you show up filled up, you identify their need and provide true value, and you provide a clear next step so you can keep meeting their need. There used to be an organization that I was affiliated with, and everybody would show up and take. Oh, I gotta take from this person, I gotta take from that person, I gotta take from this person. That's how a lot of events are these days. I said, you know what, I'm gonna try to get all my answers before I show up at the event, and then when I show up at the event, I'm gonna try to serve and meet everybody's needs. Now, did I do it perfectly? No. But as a result, you become an outlier. People say, you gotta talk with Lisa. She's so helpful, right? You gotta talk with Michelle. She knows about this topic. Jeff is so good at websites. You gotta talk with him. In other words, when you show up filled up, people refer you. Did you catch that? You don't need to ask anybody to refer you. They refer you automatically because you met their need. This is the opposite, the complete opposite of this selfish sales cycle, okay? Here's the selfish sales cycle. And don't raise your hand if you've ever done this, all right? I'm sure we all have. I show up empty and needy. I remember back, can I share my weaknesses again with you? I feel like this is very helpful. Maybe it's therapy for me, all right? Because I feel guilty all these years. But I remember getting a VIP invite to Catalyst Conference. Okay, Catalyst Conference, 11,000 leaders in Atlanta every year, October. And I remember getting this private invite to this exclusive room with all these leaders. And I just had a book that was gonna release. Back then, I didn't know this stuff. What do you think I did in the room? So sad. What do you think I did? Try to like, you know, get people to get connected, try to, you know, talk about my book, try to find an angle, all this stuff, you know? Guess what I did the next year? I learned. Yeah, go ahead. Got to know about them. I'll tell you what, I did something even crazier. I took a bigger risk. I'm like, what the heck, why not? Got 25 cards, maybe 10. Somewhere between 10 and 25 cards. They all had their own books, podcasts, YouTube, you know, whatever stuff. And I went and rated and reviewed their show, and then gave them each a $10 Starbucks card with a handwritten note that thanked them for their contribution to the conversation of leadership and churches. Pretty cool? Did it turn into big deals? What do you think?
Maybe not.
I don't even know. Honestly, I don't even know. I can't even say that, you know, at every single person or any single person it worked. But here's what I do know. Look at where we are today. When you walk around as that type of person where nothing is asked and you just give value, people talk about you. People absolutely talk about you. I remember being at one event, and again, this pastor's salary, pretty cheap, okay? I get invited to this one meal at that same conference, and when it came time for everyone to pay their bill, this small group of leaders, 8 of them, this is tough for me. I paid for everybody. I'm like, oh, I got it. You know, listen, not everyone can do that. Sometimes it's like an act of kindness, like follow-up. Somebody says, you know what, my nephew's really struggling with confidence. You know what? I do confidence coaching. Why don't you give me your nephew's number and I'd love to chat with him. Free. Okay? It doesn't take any time or it doesn't take any money, it takes time. That's the type of stuff, folks. This is very annoying. I show up empty and needy. I keep talking about my products and services, and I ask for the sale and keep asking until they get offended or give up and buy. Is that helpful? Has anyone ever met somebody like that?
Yeah.
Are you sitting next to a person like that? No, I'm kidding, don't. But you guys get my point? And yet people chalk this up as, oh, but that's hustle. No, it's not. It's offensive. Okay? It's offensive. So, we talked about number one, why people really buy a product or service and how to ethically influence the outcome. They buy a product to solve their problem or to increase their benefits. Ethically influence the outcome. It starts with an R. What do? You raise people's awareness. That's how you ethically influence the outcome. Okay? And now how to present your product in a way that serves and not sells. We just talked about that a second ago, where you do the serving sales cycle instead of the selfish sales cycle. And now number 3, the final one, 3 steps for creating your perfect product idea. I've shared a version of this before, but let me tell you about this. Any product, you have to have a need. You have to have a need. If you don't have a need, you're annoying, okay? Now, does everyone know that they have a need? In fact, I would guarantee that you know they have a need better than they know they have a need. Let's bring Lisa up. Come on up, Lisa.
Lisa.
All right. Unplanned.
Yeah,
Right?
I was like zoning out.
Yeah, see? Woke you up. Teacher saw you sleeping. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. So you've been Miss Ohio.
Yes,
You've been Mrs. International.
correct.
Did people start asking you, how do you do this?
Yes, all the time.
So how do you do this? They have daughters who are interested, who start by playing dress up and they want to be that person. And we chatted early on. Remember, we chatted like way early when you started our programs,
Yeah.
and it was tough for you
Right.
to charge.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Why? Because let's be honest, is it tough for us to charge sometimes?
Yes.
Anybody?
Yes.
Okay. Why was it tough for you? Even though you're in the top echelon of talent in this area, why was it tough for you to charge?
I think because I'm a giver and I want to give back.
Yeah.
Somebody,
Yeah.
gave to my life, and I just always want to give back. But I had to learn
Yeah.
that, like you said, it took a lot to get where I was,
Yeah.
and so I had a lot to give.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's probably why for me.
Yeah.
And then you just think, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because am I charging you that? Is that too much? Is it not? Because there's no.
Rule out
Yeah,
there.
there's no rule, and I'm such a rule follower. You know what I
Sure,
mean?
sure.
So you just don't know what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. So you really would have loved for somebody to give you a book and say,
Yep.
you charge this much, you say this, you do that. And why? I'm not asking Lisa, but why do we think we want a rule book with all these things? Why do you think? Anybody?
We're afraid to not do it right.
We're afraid to not
Yeah.
do it right? What are we really afraid of? I agree. What are
Failure.
failure and rejection.
Rejection.
So if I follow the rule and I quote this fee and they say no, well, they're disagreeing with Dr. So-and-so, so they're stupid.
Yes.
But if I name my price and I guessed it at it and they reject it, now who are they?
Rejecting me.
Yeah.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Does this make sense?
Yeah.
So we had a talk early on, and we talked about how eventually your family would get frustrated if you kept giving and giving and giving of your limited time as a mom of 3? 4. Your husband,
Yeah.
don't you think it's unfair to your family at a certain level?
Very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so. When
Be-
I'm in my office and helping
Yeah.
other people when my kids are out there wanting me as well.
Yeah. Has your brand gotten better since you've charged?
Oh, yeah.
So in other words, now you have a website.
I have, website
Coaching. Now you've been on all kinds of interviews. So folks, this is crazy, but let me say this. You are actually guaranteeing your failure if you don't charge for your services.
Because then you're not a what do you call it? You're not the
Guru,
expert.
credible?
Yeah, you're just
Yeah.
somebody that's helping out.
Yeah. Do you think people listen to advice more when they pay for it or when they get it free? When they pay for it. So she would have guaranteed the failure of her business if she kept saying, oh, it's no problem. Oh, I don't charge. right?
Yes.
Okay, so she's gotten better and better results. Did you catch that? Your clients will get better results when they pay.
Yes.
Wow. All right, let's give her a hand. Awesome. And if someone has a niece or daughter that needs coaching, lisamosier.com, right?
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah. All right. So I know you do other stuff too. Here it is. You ready? 3 steps. Number 1, there has to be a need. Is there a need for your services? And my firm belief is people don't even know their need. So your number 1 job is to raise their awareness of their need. Okay? Mark, could people say, why do we need a wedding photographer? I have my iPhone. I mean, come on, dude. And iPhones are better than the 1970s camera, so why would we hire a photographer? Do you get that at all? Have you ever?
All the time.
Really?
Yeah, everybody's a photographer.
Everybody's a photographer.
So we educate them of our style of photography, but it can be tough sales sometimes.
Yeah, I agree. You got to educate them. And do people sometimes have to pay the price of not choosing you before they choose you? Ooh, David, I know we had that a lot in our business where we lay it out. We know someone would be stuck. We would share the offer with them, and they'd say nope. And then 6 months later, they're in the fellowship. They're back. They're saying, you know what? I made a mistake. You were right. And again, you just have to hold strong. You can't go after them. What happens when you go after someone who's not convinced? Right? Rick, is that you know about that? Someone?
I was just thinking my most successful client so far, I tried to convince not to be a client.
There you go.
Intentionally. It worked well.
There you go. So, I can't take you on as a client. No, please, here's my money. Please take me on. Kind of? Kind of? Okay. So, check this out. Besides this guy looking really scary, I don't know if you can see this. That's a lot of stuff to carry around, right? Today, all that stuff and more is in that little device. Steve Jobs had to convince the population that they needed this before they even knew it. So don't think your job's any tougher or any easier. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
In fact, you're probably going to be the first to know people's need because you're a disruptor. The fact that you're here today, the word entrepreneur means bearer of risk. You guys are an entrepreneur, whether you think so or not. You came here. Your boss didn't fire you, so somehow you snuck out of day job jail. But here's the point. You're either a entrepreneur or an entrepreneur, right? And the point is that you are a bearer of risk. It's probably your job to educate the population that they have a need before they even know they have a need. Lisa and Daphne, you're on our Author Academy Elite sales calls. You know that people think, well, I could just go with CreateSpace. Why would I pay money to go with Author Academy Elite when I could just go to CreateSpace? And suddenly, we have to raise their awareness. We have to say, do you ever want to get into a bookstore? Psh, yeah, of course I do. With CreateSpace, you can't get into a bookstore. Why not? Because the books can't be returned. Well, it's not that big of a deal. Okay, do you want to be able to have advanced copies so that you can send them to influencers and your launch team? Yes. Well, if you go with CreateSpace, you can't. Do you want a hardcover? So folks, all I'm saying is that you make a list of all the reasons why their other choice doesn't make sense. You don't even have to sell your choice. Just state and show them their own objections. And notice I didn't say, well, if you go with CreateSpace, you can't get into a bookstore. I said, do you want to get into a bookstore? Yes, I do. Well, guess what? You can't. You see how even that little subtle thing is different? It's not psychology. It's instead of stating what they think they want, you ask them what they want. And that's a good sale, asking questions. If you're doing 90% of the talking in your sales meeting, you're messing up. You should be asking questions. All right, ability. So do you have the ability to meet other people's needs? What do you think? I'm looking out at the crowd. I know I just met you guys, but I would say as well, every single person in this room has an ability. The problem is you don't even recognize the magnitude of your ability because it's too easy for you. Is this true?
Yes.
Some of you are so good that you think everybody can do it. And there are people who are saying, how are they even doing this? David has crazy abilities. In fact, David and I recently tried to switch roles on something where I tried to do something he normally did and he did something I normally do. And it was tough for both of us. And eventually, after like the third or fourth day of like hitting the wall, I was like, listen, I'll do that part, you do that part, boom, we're happy again, okay? But why do we think that? Why do we think that we all can do everything well? Great teams know their specialty, and they do their specialty well. And then lastly, irreplaceability. So you have need, ability, and irreplaceability. Here's what I mean by that. And you might say, Kary, I've heard you teach on that before. That's the law of compensation. Yes, it is. It's also the 3 steps for creating your perfect product idea. Did you catch that? The law of compensation, in other words, how much you can charge for your services. I'll give you a furnace illustration in just a moment. That same graph is what's necessary for you to create your perfect product idea. If people don't have a need, you don't have an ability, and there's a million other people out there who are creating the same product, you're not going to be able to sell your product. So, I'll give you the analogy, right? Here's a angry woman. I'm just kidding. She's a cold woman, okay? And the guy, poor guy. This is not a happy moment for this couple, okay? They're cold. Their furnace went out. Now, if the furnace goes out on December 7th, is the furnace person going to be able to charge a lot of money? What do you think? They always do? I heard they always do. Okay.
Same as everybody else.
The same as everybody else? So they have a need. Our furnace went out. I don't know, Buckeye Heating and Cooling. I think they're real people, a real company. They have an ability to meet the need. And there's a whole bunch of other people out there that can do it on December 7th. Now the furnace goes out at 11 p.m. on December 24th. How much are they going to charge?
A lot more.
So in other words, same need, same ability, but nobody wants to work on Christmas Eve. So they're not replaceable. Folks, your job is to become irreplaceable with your product or service. If you say, well, so-and-so's got a course on personal growth and so-and-so does too, and I guess I do, okay, guess what? You've guaranteed your rates are at a certain level. Daphne, you were one. I'm trying to see if anybody else. You came to our event called Escaping Shawshank, or Dream Job Bootcamp Shawshank Edition. How many other people on the planet have a mastermind that meets in Shawshank Prison?
I don't know, one, not any.
I don't either. Same content, maybe. Same people, maybe. Totally different venue. And a whole different spin on it, which is you're in prison, personally or professionally, and you need to break free. Was that a memorable event?
I can picture it right now and have the same feelings. It was fantastic, life-changing.
We literally put the people in cells. I know that sounds weird. There's probably a law against it. But we had people go into these cells. We had people hold the bars. We had people write a letter to their future self. People started businesses. People had relational breakthroughs. It was life-changing. Now, if we had it at Motel 6, you see what I'm saying? Break free from the prison of your life in Motel 6. Maybe it's a prison because of the way it looks, right? You see what I'm saying? So it's your job to make your product irreplaceable, add new benefits, add new perks, add new location, to make yourself distinguishable in your offer. Nobody on the planet has a system to help people take books and turn them into six-figure businesses and offers 4 coaching calls a week in small group and has a conference and brings you onto the stage and blah, 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 blah. There's nothing like it on the planet. And then we put a guarantee on it, which, by the way, a guarantee is a great strategy as well. If you really believe in your product, put a guarantee on it. Nobody has a... Do you think there's other courses out there on productivity? Anybody? Yeah. Do you think I said to David, let's create the next course on productivity? No, somebody shoot me, right? Instead I said, let's write a crazy fiction book about people's minds getting hacked, and then let's take that fiction book and turn it into a real course that helps people become unhackable in work and life and helps them stop going from ideation to stagnation, ideation to frustration, and instead go from ideation to implementation. We launched this on day 1, and 100 students showed up like that, right, at $500 each. Why? Because we made it an offer. We raised. Do you think people before that would have said, my ideas are getting hacked? No. In fact, when we first ran Facebook ads, it was devastating. See, I'm sharing weaknesses again. People said, my dream's getting hacked. Is this a scam? Are you going to hack my iPhone? And there was a whole disconnect about people thinking that hacked meant like your computer or your iPhone. Are you guys going to fix my computer? And we're like, no, it's about your dreams getting hacked. So we had to reposition the statement. We had to raise their awareness. We had to do webinars where we showed how you have an idea and you get sidelined, you're hacked. And we showed statistics and all that. Does that make sense, everybody? So where do we go from here today? Where do we go? Today was great. Today was an event. I had a good time. Thanks for coming. Thanks for flying in from Arkansas. I know it wasn't just to see me, but it was to see your friends and all this good stuff. But I'm glad you guys came. Thanks for coming, guys. Here's the point. Today was an event, and events can motivate you. Events are a calendar issue. Events can do a certain amount of things, but it's not a process. Events motivate, processes mature, right? Events are a calendar issue, processes change people. We have a process literally called the Igniting Souls Conference. You might say, that sounds like an event. Well, here's what we do. Everyone who decides to come to the Igniting Souls Conference, we give them lifetime access to our tribe. And so it's a private Facebook group, it's a tribe, and for the rest of their lives, they're now connected to a community where we have daily help, daily support. People who say everything from, hey, I got a prayer request, to, hey, can you look at my book trailer and tell me what you think, to, hey, can you vote on my product idea? I mean, it is fantastic. It's one of the best things on planet Earth. Here's the point. Igniting Souls Conference, we do it once a year. It takes a ton of time. Erica, you're part of our support staff. You know, does this not take time? I mean, it is intense. We're 75 days away. The conference has been growing and growing and growing. We started with a blank wall in a free room, and today we sold out the Quest last year, and now we're bumping up against on selling out the Hilton Polaris, okay? I'm told there's, I think, 5 rooms left. I believe we have 15 VIP tickets left, and 15 minus 34, I'm not good at math, I think it's 19. Is that right? Something like that. We have 19 conference tickets left. Again, it even went down from when I did this 24 hours ago. So here's the point. We want you to come. We want you to come. We actually put a guarantee on it. What conference does that? It says, hey, come for day 1 and day 2, and at 5 p.m. on Saturday, if you haven't gotten 10x your return, come find us and we'll write you a check for a full refund. By the way, this includes 4 meals at the Hilton Polaris, okay? Tickets right now, Erica, if you can share the link. For those of you who are in the room, we'd love for you to come. We're 92% full, and ticket prices increase tonight at 11:59 p.m. Pacific time. So the point is this. Guaranteed that you're going to have 10x your return, 100% satisfaction guarantee. You guys live here in Columbus. We have people coming in from India. It's our first ever India person. We have people coming in from Australia, from the UK. I mean, they are hopping oceans to come. You guys have to hop across Polaris Parkway. Okay, what's more dangerous? Maybe Polaris Parkway. You never know. All right? But here's the point. It's going to be an absolute blast. I'd love to show you the quick trailer, and then I'll do 2 minutes of questions. So this is probably unlike most trailers because that's what we do. We try to make our events different. So I'm going to try to share this. We'll see what happens. And hold on 1 second. We'll try to make this happen here. All right, so the entire event is designed to help you close your gap. And you might say, well, Kary, what is my gap? I don't know. But we're going to define what it is very early on in the conference, and then we're going to help you. We brought experts from all across the world, experts in social media, experts in podcasting. If you're one of these 4 people, you should come. If you're an author, a coach, a speaker, or an entrepreneur, those are our 4 sweet spots. Those are the types of people that are going to have their lives changed, okay? How many of you have come to the conference in the past? Raise your hand if you've been there. Okay, most of you. Good times?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody? All right, so it's happening soon, and literally when it's sold out, it's sold out. We just sold out our UK event in 7 days, and sorry, but there's a sold out sign now, and you can't get in. So same thing with this. The Hilton Polaris literally has limitations on number and food and this type of thing. And once it's gone, it's gone. I made a big announcement yesterday. I don't know if you heard this, but I talked Barnes & Noble Hilton Polaris into doing their largest ever book signing for our authors. Wow. So yeah, yes. Wow. So from 5 to 7 p.m. Thursday night, they're gonna basically roll out, the red carpet for us, and we're gonna have a full Author Academy Elite book signing. It's going to be shared on social media, all kinds of good stuff. So again, we try to over-deliver, and I'd love for you to come. So any questions? I literally have 3 minutes to take questions about this or about the topic today. Erica, if anybody online has a question too, and if you could share the conference link as well. So anybody have any questions about products, ideas, anyone want anything explained better or deeper? Any questions?
That was awesome.
It's awesome. Okay. Well, listen, folks, thanks so much for coming. We're going to hang out for a little bit. You can meet, you can mingle, you can hang out. Also, I'd love to see you tomorrow. If you thought today was good, David will be there tomorrow as well. We're going to share that system with you guys. Thanks for coming. We'll see you in September. All right? Thank you.